All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome into the next episode of the Fit CEO podcast. We have our lovely NLCA student on, Sophie, and we're going to make this a coaching call. So Sophie has come with questions prepared. She'll give a quick introduction on herself, and then we'll rock and roll. Sophie, give us the background, and then let's rock.
All right, background on me?
Yes, quick little 30 to 60 seconds, and
All
then we'll
right.
get into questions.
So actually I am trans masc, so I actually use he, they pronouns. This is actually the year anniversary of my transition today, actually. So kind of an awesome
My
day.
apologies. I just said she, and I just caught
Okay.
myself. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. No, you're totally fine. It happens to the best of us, and it's totally fine. But yeah, so I started with NLCA 5 months ago. And truly, I started just because I was extremely depressed. I was in a place where I just was not happy with my job. I was in a place where I felt like my life was running away from me, and I didn't have any sense of joy or any sense of like meaningfulness in my career that I was in. I felt like I went to work for 40 hours a week. I came home, I had no time for myself or my partner or the home that I even lived in, and I was like, there has to be more. And I've always had a drive I've always wanted to create positive change, and I've always wanted to help people and help my community. But I knew at that point in my life, I needed to specifically do more internal work. And so when I heard about NLCA, it was actually my sister who had joined right before me. So she is
Oh,
actually
yeah?
too. Yeah, Brooke Spurlock.
Let's go.
Yeah, she is the CEO of Empower Us Fitness, and she's doing incredible. And so she inspired me to join as well. And we had both gone through similar points in our lives, and we're very similar in age. And so I just decided to do it, and it was literally the best decision that I could have made. Not only have I learned so much about myself in business and the way that I can work, but I have intrinsically learned so much about myself. And it has literally been the biggest self-love journey that I've been on, because I knew that I needed to find myself internally before I could be a coach to somebody else. But I knew that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to really just know myself a lot more. I knew that I was like, I did not work my entire life to love and accept the body that I'm in, just to be at this point of transitioning, just to be in a job where health and fitness and prioritizing my mental health is not number one. So I knew I needed to switch gears, and this is what it is, and I'm beyond happy.
Yeah. You mentioned this has been a great self-love journey for yourself, but entrepreneurship is like the biggest self-development challenge like you can ever put yourself through. Real quick, because now you have me intrigued on your story. What was the breaking point? So you said you were working a 40-hour-a-week job. What was the breaking point where you were like, I can't do this anymore. I got to move on?
Oh man, I feel like, I think there was one point. It was oh my God. I think there was just multiple days where it was just like, I felt like I came into work and I had nothing of sustenance. Like I came in and came out, and I felt like a cog in a machine. And there was one day where I was like, you know what, like I can't do this anymore. I used to work at a pharmaceutical company, and I worked quality control for them. So it's an extremely analytical field where mistakes do not, they don't get dismissed. They don't get dismissed, but it's more so that like, it really impedes any opportunity to grow because it is such a monitored environment. And so I felt
you couldn't express yourself.
Yeah, I felt like I couldn't express who I was. I felt like I was in such a deep place of stagnation. And I was like, okay, I'm only 25. I was 24 at the time. So I was like, this is not it. And this is not sustainable for the rest of my life. And I studied environmental studies and biology before getting into that field. So I was like, I love sustainability, and I just want to be healthy, and I want to like really like work with the earth and work with my body. And so it was just not aligned with where I wanted to be. And one day too, working out and fitness and nutrition was the only thing that kept me constant in that job. I meal prepped every day before I went to work. I loved cooking. I've always loved cooking. And it was the only thing where I felt like I had some point of consistency and some constant point of taking care of myself every single day. And then I started bringing all my lunches to work and going to the gym, and everyone around me was like, oh my God, that's so awesome, and this and that. And it kind of dawned on me where I was like, why is this not normal? Like, why is this not something that we are all doing? Like, why is it so astronomical of me just to take care of myself. Like, why is this not being prioritized in this environment? And why are employees just, why is it normal to be stressed and tired and exhausted all the time? Like, this can't be right. And I had one employee or coworker that I just loved, and I had started to go to the gym, and she was like, you know what, like, can you take me to the gym with you today? And I was like, yeah, like totally. And I literally remember driving to work and being like, this is the most excited I've been to go to work in the last 8 months. And that's a sign. Like, that's a sign that I'm not doing the thing that I want to be doing. And the only reason I'm excited is because I'm going to train with my friend after work. So
something that didn't even involve your job.
No. That was not anything where I was like, I am so passionate to get these papers printed today. Like, no, like
I wouldn't be passionate about that either. So don't worry.
Yeah. So, and it just dawned on me because I've been in sports in my entire life, and I loved working out, and I very much had I think like a roller coaster of a relationship with fitness, because for a long time it was, I think unknowingly, it was something where I used it to feel a lot more in touch with my body. When I felt like my mind was elsewhere. I think I don't think I'm alone in this with being trans. It's very common to feel that you don't feel like you are in your body. And it's a really hard way to exist sometimes when you want to be as present as possible, but it feels like sometimes your entire life is in your head, or at least that's what it was like for me. So being grounded, being in sports, not only did I have a community where I felt so welcomed and safe, and I felt like I had a place where I belonged, but I had an environment where I could physically push myself and I could like tangibly grow. And being able to tangibly grow, I felt like I was at least connecting to the body that I was in. And then on top of that, I was affirming. For me, being trans masc, it was very affirming to be lifting weights and be getting stronger. And I think in the back of my head, I knew I was like, yeah, I want to get like a stronger chest and bigger muscles and all these things. And like, and I was like, I'm just a buff athlete in high school. Like, that's just who I am. But it was more than that. It was just, I wanted to feel so affirmed in this body. And that's something I've wanted my entire life. I've literally had anxiety since I was 5 years old. I would have panic attacks waking up at night. And I know you talk a lot about anxiety, and trust me when I say I appreciate you to the utmost for being so vulnerable when you said, like just being able to hear you and see your success and you saying, I have anxiety all the time. It was like, oh my God, thank God I'm not alone. And it's like, it gave me that spark of like, oh, I don't have to not have fear to do things. Like, I can do things and I can push through the fear. And that's like one of the, like you said, in the entrepreneur sense, that's one of the biggest like self, improvements of knowing like, I don't have to not be scared to do anything. You're going to be scared the whole time, but it's like, you can prove to yourself that you're going to do scary things.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I couldn't thank you enough, honestly, for saying that.
Yeah, 100%. That's it's a big part of my journey. And honestly, I feel like I've talked about anxiety being a superpower as well. I feel like all entrepreneurs have like a little bit of an angsty personality. And once we know how to like harness it, we can use that energy to be very productive and accomplish these big goals. I have just a random business question. Now you have me like so intrigued. Is your target demographic trans individuals as well? Like, do you only work with trans clients?
No, actually. And I was actually thinking about that with Emily when I started, because I was like, I was in this place of, right when I started, I had literally left my job and was transitioning out of my job. And, I quit my job before I started this, which was not what you recommended. But it worked out.
Okay.
I promise. Yeah. But it worked out. And so I was like, it's not just trans clients. I just work with anyone in the LGBTQ community, because I think there is such a network there. And really my mission is just to allow people to have a safe space to work on themselves and to feel that affirmation in their bodies and to feel this like pride in themselves. And that's my LLC is called Pride Side Fitness.
Nice.
And I love it. It kind of just came about, and I was, thinking of names with my mom, and like that one came out of the blue, and I was just like, you know what, that one kind of stuck, but it really did. It like, wanted it to embody, like, you know, obviously it sounds like the bright side of things, but I wanted that to be more of the momentum of it. It's like, I think especially in communities where like the gym isn't necessarily like the safest space, I wanted it to be more of like a perspective that like nutrition and fitness can just be something that is accessible to everyone, and it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. I think we get very bombarded by so many messages of like, this is good for you and this is good for you and and I didn't want anyone to feel so confused that they didn't feel that sort of like pathway. And like you in entrepreneurship, you literally lay out a roadmap for people, and I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to lay out a roadmap for people so like they really believe that like they can do it, and you absolutely can, because fitness and nutrition is so deeply ingrained in like our basic necessities that like, and you know, so yeah, I sorry not to go on a tangent, but
No, I love it.
yeah,
I'm very fascinated. Like that, like your community there is so into health and fitness, and I've seen other coaches that have specifically worked in that community, and like they just dominate it. So I'm like so just like fascinated by it all, which is so cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, honestly, thinking about it now, like, I just feel like truly, like, all of it very much is backed by love. Like, I have so much love for my community, and throughout these 6 months, and like, obviously, years prior, it's a work in progress. But I feel like I'm so grateful because I have been able to develop such a deep self love. And I remember I was on the phone with my grandma the other day, and I had just started like transitioning, and I just felt this like state of euphoria, and I was like, this is what I've wanted my entire life. Like, it wasn't like I wanted this amount of money, I didn't want this career, I didn't want this. Like, I knew very very innately since I was a kid, I just wanted to know who the hell I was. Like, that's what I wanted to know my entire life, and I had so much anxiety about it. I constantly was like, who am I? Like, I don't know who I am. I don't match this body. I sat in the mirror for hours when I was a kid, and I would just stare and try to find my eyes. Like, I couldn't, I felt like I didn't know who I was, and I couldn't see my face.
It's crazy.
And deep anxiety and deep, dysphoria in that sense, a lot of body dysphoria. And so, and I'm very much not alone in that struggle. And so literally I had one moment when I went home, and it was after I had started transitioning, and I looked in the mirror and I literally saw myself, I felt like for the first time at 24 years of age. And I was in the mirror that I would sit in with my sister, who was in this program, who we have bonded and cried with together and talked about our lives, and we are now flourishing. I was in that mirror, and all I could do was look at myself in the eyes, and I just started crying and smiling and dancing, and I sat there for hours and danced. And it was like, that's what I want people to feel. Like, I want people to just, like, anybody who has ever felt that pain, I just want someone to feel that joy in their life. And like, and I felt that sense of euphoria, and I remember calling my grandma and being like, I could die happy. Like, I told her, I was like, I could die right now and I am good. And I was like, I never thought I would say that. Like,
Yeah.
and she specifically said, she was like, I love you, but no. And she was like, you have so much work to do. And I was like, okay, you're right.
You do. You do.
Yeah.
You're like blowing my mind right now. Like, you're opening up like a whole new perspective for me. Like, I've never actually had like an in-depth conversation with a trans individual before. So this is like a really cool, eye-opening perspective for me. Do you mind if I ask a hard question?
Please. I love hard questions. Let's do it.
Have you noticed that it's been like hard being a coach in this industry and working with that demographic? Has it been easy? What has that experience been like? Like, has it been accepting, non-accepting?
You know, I am so grateful because, I mean, number one, I think I live in California, and I live in Oakland, California, and before that I lived in San Francisco. So I will say I'm literally in one of the most welcoming communities you could be in. And that being said, my community, that I have on Instagram is a very accepting community, and I have not had to face really any like hard backlash, and I know that is not the story for everybody else. And so in my own experience, it has not been difficult. The only difficulty has come with my own self-perception and getting over those hurdles of self-perception. And really it's been a constant day and day workout of, I do the work, DMs, work, doing the physical work. And the other side is truly the mental work. it is getting to the end of the day and doing all that work and then sitting down and meditating and writing and working through these limiting beliefs and things that I perceive myself to be, and reminding myself that I am completely whole and I am completely fine. And the more that I remind myself of the simplicity of my self-love, it gets bigger. And I feel like I'm able to then convey that to my clients. And that's all I want to do. Like, I knew I had such imposter syndrome when we started this program. I was like, who the hell am I? And why do I think I can lead somebody? Because I feel like I am spiraling into a mirror. But I wasn't spiraling into a mirror. I was just like, how do I be a coach? But the more, especially watching your modules, and the more I discovered it, it was like you saying specifically in one module, you said, like, remind yourself that you can't offer someone what you already have. And I was like, you really do, like, you have a lot of these golden nuggets of knowledge that I've fully appreciated in your modules, because they do speak, and they speak volumes, and it just depends on who's listening and how it hits them. But it hasn't been a difficult journey with my clients. I love every single one of my clients. All of my clients, they all, identify in the spectrum of the queer community and the spectrum of LGBTQ and non-binary folks. But that actually has been kind of like the best part, is because I get to like help my community, and there's just such this deep love and connection with them. And it's like, it feels bigger than myself. And that's kind of what I've always wanted, is like, I wanted to figure out who I was, and I wanted to like get this figured out, because I was like, I know I have something else to do, but I know I'm not going to be able to do that unless I'm really in this body. If it's me, it's my mind, it's my spirit, it's my body, it's all connected, then I'm going to be able to push through. And I feel like I'm in that state now after 5 months in the program of, the physical, the mental, the struggle, everything. I'm at that point where I'm like, yeah, I feel good, and I know exactly what my mission is, and I know exactly who I want to help, and it is so backed by love and passion that, like, I am literally at a point in my life where I'm so excited to live a longer life. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I ever thought I was going to say that.
That's so cool. That's so cool that like entrepreneurship and coaching have led you to this point right now on this call, where you're saying like you want to be here and live a long life, and you have a mission and a passion, and man, that's so cool. This is like one of my most fun podcasts I've done in a while, I feel like. Going back to my previous question, even the straight community, you feel like within coaching has been inclusive. Like you haven't gotten any pushback, nothing. Like,
yeah, and
that's awesome.
I will say I feel like such an anomaly in that, because I'm like I know that is not everyone's story, but like everyone in my community has been so accepting and so kind. And I think it's too because like I choose who I surround myself with. So like people on my Instagram are people that I love, people that I've connected to my entire life. And I think the great thing is like, I think people that don't accept me just don't comment on my posts or interact with me. Yeah. Who knows if they do, I think it's like, that's the best part. And I mean, for me too.
People don't accept me. So I said, there's people that don't accept me. They probably don't comment on my shit either.
Exactly. Like, and I mean, at that point, it's like, because it really doesn't matter, right? Like, you're just being you, you're living your life, and the energy that's going to come to you is totally meant for you, and the energy that's not is going to go away. And like, I mean, that being said, though, too, I think I'm extremely lucky in that sense. And I think what my grandma had said, where she was like, you have so much work to do, it very much speaks volumes, like, especially in the time that we are in right now. Like, it is such an intense time for the trans community. There are so many anti-trans bills on the docket. And it's like, okay, thank God I am truly living this life of privilege, and also of being, trans masc. I don't necessarily pass all the times, but I've also had so many people just, kind of like accept me for who I am. And it's like, thank God I have a platform and this ability to speak.
What does that mean, pass? Like, accept the transition?
Right. So like, it means that like, if I got on this call, you would be like, that's a dude immediately, but like, I'm not necessarily passing, I think I'm like, somewhere in the middle. Right. And so, but yeah, but still in that space, I'm very privileged, and like truly just, being, like a trans white individual, I have a lot of privilege. Eldredge. And so I am excited to be able to kind of speak on that subject and have a, you know, in a way have a platform to speak on it, but also do things in that platform and give people the tools that they want, people in my community, to be on that transformative journey themselves, you know. And I don't necessarily, I have clients that all have very different goals, but it's more so lifestyle goals. And like my biggest mission is like, I just want people to get out of the program and feel that they are the most competent and confident in themselves, that they have this education and they can take it with them. And they remember, oh, like fitness and nutrition is for me. Like, I don't know why I ever separated myself from it in the first place, but like fitness and nutrition, it's so much deeper than just like what we make it out to be. You know, it's like, it's not looking a certain way and it's not eating a certain stuff. It's like,
It's feeling comfortable in your body.
Yes, exactly. It's feeling comfortable in your body. It's like, do I have a good relationship with food? And it's like, some of my clients, we work on that. We work on our relationships with food in the gym and working out. And like, it's almost like, it's like relearning to love yourself. And it's so much unlearning. It's so much like the bullshit's just like coming out left and right. And it's like, then we start to learn that like the simplicity is what we need, you know? And that's what I wanted for so long. I felt like my brain, especially at that job, it felt like my brain was like on fire. Like I felt like I was like I have so many thoughts in my head all day, and all I want to do is go home and feel safe. Like I was like, I just want to feel safe. And then I realized I was like, I am not going to feel safe anywhere if I don't feel safe in my body. Like I was like, I need to make my body as safe as possible. I need to make my body a temple. I need to make my mind a temple. And my mind's the person that is literally making me feel unsafe right now. It's telling me all this shit that is running through my head, causing me anxiety, making me doubt myself. And it's like, once you realize that, you said it like right in the beginning of the mindset module, it's like, you can control your thoughts and feelings. And I was like, you're right. You're so right. Like, I was like, yes, thank you, Chad. Like, yeah. And so,
and safety comes from strength too, right? Like you had to grow those areas, build strength there so you could feel safe in your mind and your body.
yes.
I got to say, I'm happy. I know we're 22 minutes in, and just for everyone listening, Sophie was supposed to ask me questions, but I just got so like intrigued, and I'm happy that we went this direction because I think this will help a lot of people. Let's get some of those questions in though. We will still accomplish that. So we're going to transition. Sophie has a couple of questions for me, and we're going to rock and roll.
Okay. Well, my biggest question for you is like, you're an entrepreneur and you've done this since 2020, and obviously you've been kind of growing since then, but like, what's the thing that wakes you up in the morning that gets you so excited to do this every day? Because you have so much that you do, and it's like, what's your internal motivation?
Man, that's a great question. Honestly, I'm just going to go off of what my gut told me, and my gut told me my staff. I feel like I wake up every day and I'm very excited for the team. The reason I'm most excited for them is, you know, now they have this platform, they have this opportunity to fulfill their own goals. And a lot of the times, being honest with you, Sophie, the things that are put into the course, the things that are helping the clients, all the ideas and projects that we work on, they're created by the team. So being able to see them express themselves creatively and then put that stuff into action and watch, the result, whether it's on the sales team and, you know, they're driving more commission for their family, or it's on the coaching side and they're helping you guys. That's fun to watch.
I love that. That's so awesome. That's such a, like, I feel like you speak from such a selfless place too. And like, and that's beautiful, you know, like, I feel like that's you being like, your mission is so much bigger than you. It's everybody that you love.
I don't like taking credit. I'm pretty shy. I'm actually pretty shy.
It doesn't come across as you're making all of these videos for literally thousands of people, but that's awesome. Yeah. I love that. And I mean, that's kind of how I aspire to be, and, you know, hopefully am, you know, that's how I feel lately, is like, you get up for your clients, you know, you get up for other people that need the gifts that you have, honestly. So,
I chose the team because I interact with them the most. So like I get to see the reward loop. Like I get to have the conversation, I get to coach them, you should do this thing, and then they take action, and I get to see that closed loop. So I would say the staff for sure.
I love that. That's awesome. Cool. Well, I mean, I have more questions for you.
Let's keep it rolling.
Okay. I mean, I guess I kind of know this one because you have so much so many networks that allow you to maintain connections. But I guess what is your favorite way of maintaining personal connections amongst your clients and your staff?
Favorite way of maintaining personal connections. NLCA Live is a big one. We do that obviously one time a year, and I would say obviously you'll be there this year, so you'll get to see it. I've done it a couple of times previous, but everyone leaves that event feeling very connected, whether it's our internal team, our staff, or our client team. Everyone feels a much deeper sense of connection to not only the coaching space, but to NLCA specifically. And if I'm being honest, it's just fucking fun. We have a lot of fun. We bring elements of fun into it. Obviously, we're doing the EDM show. We did that last year. We're going to do that again this year. So that's a ton of fun. Trying to think of other things because we need to do more events. If I'm being honest, I would say that's an area that we could be better. We do our one NLCA event a year, but I would like to start doing events every 3 months because I do think the in-person connection is, at least when I feel, most connected to the staff and most connected to the client base. So if I had to give myself feedback, I would say let's try to do one every 3 months. But yeah, I would say NLCA Live is the pinnacle of connection with both the clients and the staff.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, I feel like you can't beat in-person connection, and on most platforms, whether we're talking about coaching or NLCA Live too. So yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of micro ways I do it, like this. Like I have one podcast with a client every week now. So that's 52 podcasts a year that I get to have a one-to-one conversation with the clients. These are fun. I'm going to leave this call very excited. I'm going to brag about you to somebody on the team that I really loved our conversation. I just introduced a call with the 10K students once every 2 weeks. So, and then sometimes I just get excited and drop something in the team chat as well, right? The announcements chat. So I try to find little ways to stay connected because if I didn't have that, then what am I doing? I'm just going to sit in this office and and do nothing.
No, I love that. I mean, I will say too, like I said, I'm so happy to just be on this call with you because it's nice to just put a person to this person that I've been watching videos of for the last 6 months, and I think getting on this call, I think there was a second of nerves where I was like, I'm going to talk to some Chad. I was like,
yeah. You took a deep breath when I came in.
You saw that. I know. I was taking deep breaths and I was like, $5 says he's going to see this exhale. But I was like, it's totally fine. I hope he does. He knows exactly where I am.
These podcasts are so nonchalant. As you've seen, we very little have any agenda. We just talk.
I think that's the best way to do it though, too, because you get the real flow of things, and I noticed that even in sales calls, I've noticed that the more I am myself, the better it is, because it's you can stick to an agenda as much as you want, but it's as much as you allow that agenda to then flow, I think it's you get the most natural interactions with people, and it's that's kind of what we're going for at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, and these are all creative outlets, right? A podcast is a piece of art in so many ways. So you go into it with a loose framework and then it turns into something else.
I know we sat here for 22 minutes off the agenda.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm happy we did.
Me too. Yeah. Cool. Well, and then also, I guess, you do talk about it in your modules, and I keep saying that because I'm I know he's probably answered part of these things in all of his modules. But I guess for you, you're an entrepreneur and you're continuously scaling your business. And I know that you always have your goals and you constantly have more goals after that. And that's what you talk about, raising your goals up. And it's once you almost hit that next goal, make another goal, and I love that you've shared that mindset because it really has helped me propel forward. And I guess my biggest question is for you, where do you want to see NLCA go in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years?
Yeah. This is one of the things that we do actually have structure for. So this isn't the podcast where I come in with loose structure. We actually have a 4-step plan. So right now we're pouring all of our time, energy, and money into the current programs, 10K Accelerator and Master Coach. Our goal is always to make those the best that we possibly can. in order to continue to expand the mission and expand the company, our next phase after this is we actually want to create a brand new program called the Assistant Coach Academy. So the premise behind that is being an entrepreneur is very cool and it's very talked about. And I feel like in the internet age, like everybody now wants to be an entrepreneur. They don't feel cool. But I think that will come to an end at a certain point. And what the Assistant Coach Academy is it teaches coaches that they don't always have to be the business owner. They could be an assistant coach working for a coaching company and still feel very fulfilled through the coaching efforts and also make a good paycheck from it as well. So that program will teach people, one, how to become an assistant coach. And then two, because we have NLCA, we'll be able to play matchmaker, where we can connect assistant coaches with business owners. And like I said, play matchmaker, so to speak. So that's our next big project. Hopefully we'll get started on that in like the next 4 to 5 months. And then after that, our goal is to take the business practices that we've taught you guys and fitness coaches and expand that out to all coaches and not just limit ourselves to the fitness coaching space.
I love that. That's fantastic. I love how much I feel like you really do think ahead. Like,
Try to.
Like, and I'm like, that's genius. And like, just the fact that too, like, you're also getting so many benefits all in one. Like, you're thinking ahead of like, how's this industry going to end, and like, or not end, but like, how will it kind of evolve?
Hopefully it doesn't end. Then I'm screwed.
How's it going to evolve? And then like, on top of that, I think that's such a great outlet too, because I think there's so many, obviously, like, being in this program, that you have so many students, and at some point we are all stressed. Like, thank God we have Lacey. Thank God we have the mindset calls. Thank God we have the mindset modules and all these things. But I feel like that's such a great avenue to give to people, where it's like, you really want to be a coach, but you may not want to be the entrepreneur, but like, you have that sense of fulfillment and importance in your life, and you are still helping people. But it takes that burden off your back of being the entrepreneur if you feel like that just really isn't your alley. So I think that's genius. I love that idea. And,
Yeah. We tried to launch it 2 years ago, but I think it wasn't at the place yet where becoming the assistant coach was something that people sought after. But I feel like as the years have progressed, once again, the allure of like wanting to be the entrepreneur, I think will slowly die off, and people will kind of normalize some other jobs in the industry. So we're going to take another crack at it, but I think we're going to get it this time.
I think you will too. I feel like, I don't know, personally, I think that's a great idea. So I feel like who knows, maybe round 2's the magic number.
Round 2's, I feel very confident. Round 2's the one.
You got it. I feel like if you feel like you're confident about it, it's going to happen, So
100%.
Yeah.
I love how all these questions, when I've done these questions in the past, it's like, how can I help you grow your business? But you just wanted to pick my brain, which was fun.
I did. Yeah. Well, I was like, this is awesome. I get 30 minutes. I get to talk to Chad. It's been the guy that is in charge of the program that I've done for 6 months. And I just get to talk to this human. Like, I'm sure you have a million things to say. So I just thought it'd be nice to know more about you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That was your list, right? We crushed it.
I think so. Yeah. My first question was more so like, how has your life changed since you started at NLCA? And I'd be happy to hear your answer, but
man, that would be a whole entire podcast, but I can give you the long story short. You've heard my story. A lot of the individuals listening have heard my story. Didn't really have much of like a professional career prior to this. I was an in-person trainer for a little bit. I did some serving a little bit. Didn't have a lot of money really at all. Obviously struggled to get this started. It took me a couple of years to get the fitness coaching thing off the ground, mostly because I was egotistical. I was trying to figure it out on my own, but then eventually I invested into coaching, and obviously that expedited the results. Go figure. But yeah, from that point to this point, I get to live in the city of my dreams with my new wife who's in the other room. And obviously we're high school sweethearts. I was 16 when I met her and she was 17. So we're very in love. Let's see if she says anything. No, she didn't say anything. And like I said, we're in Austin, Texas. We love it here. We get to wake up and choose what we do every single day. And my personality, if I'm being honest, is like, I always focus on like what can we do to be better, and I need to be better at realizing like how far we actually have come at such a young age. But hindsight 2020. I mean, I couldn't be more proud of myself, more proud of everybody involved, and it's incredible.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, yeah, you should be proud of yourself. You literally have done like something that I think a lot of people would imagine would be impossible, but you're very much living proof that things are possible. And I think you literally just existing and doing what you do has given people hope that they can do the same. And at least that's the truth for me. So
yeah, you should be proud of yourself too. You're killing it.
Thank you. You know, that's the biggest thing is like, I feel like, I mean, same. I think I'm guilty of that too, of not looking back and seeing how far I've come. I think we all do that sometimes.
We're perfectionists.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. And we're goal seekers. So we're thinking of the next thing, and right. It's already gone. It's already in the past, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, you know, that was the biggest thing this year too, is I sat down and I was like, you know what I need to do? I need to celebrate. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I was like, that's why I quit my job. You know what? Yeah, you asked me earlier. You were like, what's the breaking point? I was like, I haven't gotten a damn celebration for transitioning. It has literally been a shot at 5 o'clock on a Thursday in between the shit show mess that I'm doing that I don't even like to do. And I was like, that's ridiculous. And I was like, I need a celebration. I was like, look how far I've come. And I literally just made a video that I'm going to post, I think this week, of how much my voice has changed over the last year. But like in those videos, it was me journaling on an audio call every time I drove home from work. And I watched my energy, like I watched my light change in those videos. And that was the craziest shit. So, yeah, I mean, to say the least, like figuring out how to mitigate this perfectionist mindset and give myself grace has been also one of the biggest journeys I've been on. And it's nice to sit here with you too. And like,
yeah, what we celebrate, we repeat too. I mean, I kind of tap into some of the entrepreneurs that are like really big in the game. And when they get asked the question, like, what do they regret? Almost always they say, I wish I celebrated more on the way up, because it is so important. And like I said, the big quote is what you celebrate, you repeat. So the more you celebrate your positive actions, what are you going to do? More positive actions.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep going up on that. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. 100%. This has been amazing. I feel like we absolutely dominated it. I'm going to ask you one more question to close out, and then I'll have you share your social media tags and stuff as well. But for the individuals who they're on the fence, they're thinking about making this jump into entrepreneurship, what would be your recommendation?
It's going to be one of the most life-changing experiences you can have. And when we say life-changing, it means that it's going to be all of the different emotions of beauty. You know, it can be hard, but it's going to be one of the most rewarding experiences that you can have. And I think investing in yourself is going to teach you so much more about yourself than you're even expecting. And when it gets hard, make sure you reach out to someone, because we all have fears. It's always going to be hard. Things are always going to be challenging. But when you can push through that, it's an unimaginable feeling. So invest in yourself today. Don't wait for tomorrow. You're extremely worth it, and remember how amazing you are, and don't forget that throughout the entire journey. And
let's go. High five.
Good job.
Woo! I feel like we killed it. All right, where can people find you at?
Instagram, at Coach Soph. It's Coach and then SOPHE on Instagram. Prideside Fitness. I have a job form, LLC, and we are working on a website. So we're going to get there. But yeah, Instagram at Coach Soph, Prideside Fitness. That's where I'm at.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Fit CEO podcast. If you enjoyed, screenshot, tag Sophie, tag me, and we'll see you guys in the next one.